So thanks everyone for joining us for the webinar today, Making Missouri Memories. We're very happy to present this webinar today in partnership with Travel South USA. So we have our presenter, her name is Ashley Sneed. She's the marketing manager at the Missouri Division of Tourism. So thank you, Ashley. We're really excited to have you here. Ashley, whenever you're ready, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you all for having me here today. Excited to talk to you and give you kind of an overview on what we have to offer here in Missouri. Today, we'll be giving you an overall intro, some information about the state, where it lies, the vacation regions that we have, as well as how we go about promoting each of those, and just a highlight of some of the bucket list types of activities that we really encourage individuals to do while they're here. So again, my name is Ashley Sneed. I am the marketing manager for the Division of Tourism. I oversee all of our paid marketing. Another great resource here in our office is Megan Sheets. She is our travel trade specialist. She was unable to join us today, but she is a great resource for the travel trade market. We also have a QR code here that is going to have various resources that are helpful to individuals who are planning and recommending travel. That's going to include some sample itineraries, fun facts, and some additional literature about different themes in the state. So Missouri is located in the center of the United States. It's very accessible and easy to get to. Our population is about 6 million, with our biggest city being Kansas City on the western border, and St. Louis on the eastern border is second there. The capital is Jefferson City, which is centrally located in the middle of the state. So as far as getting to Missouri, we have two international airports in both Kansas City and St. Louis. The St. Louis airport does have direct flights from Toronto, Ontario, and Montreal, Quebec via Air Canada. And Kansas City is also going to have direct flights seasonally from Toronto. It's a very easy gateway city. You can make connections through various airports, and we're very accessible to the south. So once individuals are here, they can easily hop on to other destinations to fill out their trip. As far as the estimated drive time, from Canada, you're looking at potentially upwards of 12 to 10 hours, depending on where you're coming from. But again, very accessible, easy to navigate via major interstates. So we encourage everybody to come. So those vacation regions, whenever we're selling Missouri, we are dividing the state up into 5 regions. And this is kind of an overview of the map that shows where they break down via county lines. So starting off with Northwest Missouri, this particular area has a topography that is more flat, more farmland, until you get up towards the Nebraska state line, where it gets a little bit more hilly. There's windmill farms up there. But one of the big things about the Northwest region is the history. So this is the starting point for the California, Santa Fe, and Oregon trails. You'll find a lot of information in the St. Joseph area about the Pony Express, because that's where the Pony Express began. Also big in the Outlaws, the Jesse James home is there. There is Pioneer Trails Adventure, covered wagon ride for those who are kind of wanting to reimagine the experience of the days of earlier settlers. And then also the Walt Disney Hometown Museum. So though Disney was born in Illinois, he grew up in Marceline, Missouri, and that was really his formative years that influenced him in his illustrations to go on to become a famous animator. So you can learn more about his life. Also, the Missouri Star Quilt Company, Hamilton, it's known as Quilt Town, USA. So if you have any avid quilters, definitely a place to put on their list. And the biggest city in the Northwest region, of course, is going to be Kansas City, Missouri. So Kansas City, Missouri is big on the stage right now between Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, but also they are a host city for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. So That's going to be a very big perk for us because Kansas City is one of the more centrally located cities, making it easier to access for the matches and going on to other cities that are also hosting matches. Again, they have an international airport there, and they're known about their many green spaces, a lot of parks, a lot of outdoor recreation, even though it's an urban center that people can enjoy. So some of the things that Kansas City is best known for is going to be their jazz music. They have a number of jazz clubs, and a lot of people will say that, Kansas City was born in New Orleans, but it grew up in Kansas City. During Prohibition, when a lot of the clubs were being closed in New Orleans, those musicians traveled north on the Mississippi River and then over on the Missouri, reaching Kansas City to really bloom and flourish because Kansas City was ran by the mob during Prohibition. So a lot of their businesses did not abide by shutting down and stopping to serve alcohol. So the clubs were still booming during that time. World famous barbecue. They have a Kansas City Experience app that you can use to better traverse the barbecue scene because there are over 100 restaurants, many of them national and international award winners, and everybody's different between how they smoke their meats, what type of rubs they use. So it's a big scene. You definitely have to try out multiple restaurants to find which one suits your tastes best. And then they're also known as the City of Fountains. So Kansas City has the most fountains in the world behind Rome. So beautiful architecture you'll find throughout the city, and just a really nice place to enjoy the culture and explore. Some of the top attractions that you will find in Kansas City is again going to be that historic 18th and Vine Jazz District. The jazz clubs are still thriving today. In that same district is the American Jazz Museum, which tells you about the history of American jazz and how the genre evolved, as well as the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. So that museum chronicles the Negro Leagues, which in the day during segregation, when Blacks were not allowed to play in Major League Baseball, they created a league of their own, and it explores some of the landmarks that those individuals achieved. Also, the National World War I Museum. This one is the largest collection of artifacts from World War I. And some of the other things very popular in Kansas City is the Arabia Steamboat Museum. That particular museum is a steamboat that sank in the Missouri River in 1856. And it was discovered by modern-day treasure hunters in 1988. And all of the artifacts that went down with that steamboat were recovered, and they're all on display in this wonderful museum. Also, Kansas City has a very big history with gangsters. As I mentioned, it was ran by the mob. So they actually have gangster tours that you can participate in and revisit some of the sites where some of the historical events, both good and bad, happened back in those days. As far as hotels, like a major metro area, they have tons of rooms available, both in the downtown area as well as some of those up and coming neighborhoods where you can really immerse yourself in the culture. And then what's coming new or what's here, they just finished a new terminal at the Kansas City International Airport. So great welcome for individuals who are flying in. The Kansas City streetcar is a free public transportation that runs along the major tourism route there in Kansas City, and they're working on actually expanding it. So eventually individuals coming into town will have free public transportation to get to all of our hotspots from the North River Market area down south to our Nelson Atkins Museum of Art. Again, they'll be hosting the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The CPKC Stadium was a renowned stadium because it's the first purpose-built stadium for women's professional sports. The Kansas City Current women's soccer team play there. And again, just a wonderful thing to see and a true achievement for women's professional sports. And then they are also building the Rock Island Bridge, which will be an entertainment district that crosses the Missouri River. So Northeast Missouri, This is going to be a lot of Mark Twain history up in this area of the woods. Mark Twain Boyhood Home and Museums is in the town where Samuel Clemens, the author Mark Twain, grew up. And you can traverse the properties where he grew up as a boy, a lot of the places that influenced him and his writings of Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. And you can also tour the cave that he included in his books. So a lot of history with the Mississippi River. It's also a very robust wine region. So Herman and Augusta are two of our bigger AVA, that's American viticultural areas. So tons of wineries that individuals can enjoy and beautiful rolling hills that kind of resemble the Rhine Valley. And the biggest city in our Northeast region, of course, is going to be St. Louis, Missouri. So, of course, if you're coming to St. Louis, you have to hit up the Gateway Arch National Park. This national monument was created to honor westward expansion, and there is a free museum in the bottom, as well as a documentary movie that you can watch about the building of the Gateway Arch. A lot of people don't realize that there's a tram that takes you to the top of the arch. So from the top, you can stand on that observation platform and look out windows to kind of see not only the city skyline, but the Mississippi River into Illinois as well. The Gateway Arch Riverboats is another attraction at this site in which you can do Mississippi River cruises and dinner cruises as well. Some of the top attractions in St. Louis is going to be the Gateway Arch, of course. The National Blues Museum is another popular attraction, talks about the evolution of blues music along that blues highway that goes through St. Louis. The Anheuser-Busch Brewery tours. So Anheuser-Busch Brewery began in St. Louis, Missouri. That is their main headquarters, and you can tour the historic campus there and try beer fresh off the production line. City Museum is a wild array of museum exhibits that kind of take you into an architectural playground. You can slide through shoe chutes. You can climb on a plane. There's a bus hanging off the top of the building. It's just a mishmash of repurposed things that these individuals have saved and built into their museum for enjoyment. The Missouri History Museum, as well as the St. Louis Zoo, the St. Louis Art Museum, and the St. Louis Science Center is all within Forest Park, which is a very vast urban park in St. Louis. And all of those attractions have free admission, which is great because if you have individuals who are traveling on a budget, it's a way that they can take advantage of the free attractions, but yet optimize the time that they have while still having a wonderful experience. Cathedral Basilica of St. Louis has the said to have one of the largest mosaic collections in North America. So a lot of times when you think of these European churches that are just absolutely magnificent and breathtaking, I would put Cathedral Basilica up there with those ones as well. And then, of course, we have to go into, again, blues and barbecue. So Kansas City and barbecue with St. Louis and barbecue are always kind of going head to head. They each have their own distinct style and flavor. So you have to try St. Louis barbecue as well. And then they also have various blues clubs that you can enjoy live music and entertainment. Route 66 is iconic, and as many people know, it starts in Chicago and it goes through Santa Monica, but there's about 280 miles that runs through Missouri, entering on the east side through St. Louis. So some of the attractions that they have available is going to be the historic Chain of Rocks Bridge, which is a pedestrian bridge that individuals can walk over, and on a clear day, you can see all the way to the Gateway Arch downtown. Some of the other highlights are going to be Ted Drew's frozen custard. Sadly, Drew's Jr. passed away recently, but his operation is still up and running by the family. And they're known for concretes so thick that you can turn them upside down and they don't fall out. And that's just like a thicker custard with eggs. Made with eggs. The National Museum of Transportation has various automobiles as well as trains and exhibits like the old Coral Court Motel that tell you about the history of the automobile and transportation in the U.S. And we also have the Route 66 State Park, which is in a National Historic Site and kind of gives you a history of the route, which has since started to kind of fade away with time. Central Missouri is known for the outdoor recreation. We have tons of lakes throughout the state, hiking trails with our beautiful, beautiful landscape. So some of the things to do in the central region is you can ride a stretch of the Katy Trail State Park. This is a 240-mile bicycle path that was laid where the old railroad used to be. So you can ride your bike along stretches, enjoy wineries and bed and breakfasts along the way. And the eastern side of the route actually follows the Amtrak line. So you can even get a ticket to take your bike on the Amtrak if you're just wanting to do certain sections of it. Also, Lake of the Ozarks State Park. Again, this is one of our biggest lake destinations in Missouri, very popular in the summertime for people who are wanting to come boating, jet skiing, wave running, all the good stuff. Some of the popular attractions here include Missouri State Penitentiary, which is an old historic prison that was decommissioned. You can do history tours as well as ghost tours of the prison. And Ha Ha Tonka State Park is one of our more popular state parks, which features castle ruins that burnt down and very popular for hiking in this particular area. So Southwest Missouri is very family-friendly destination. Some of the highlights here are going to be Springfield, Missouri, which is our fantastic cavern. So if you have individuals who have mobility issues, it's a ride-through cave. So as long as they can get in the Jeep Tram, they can enjoy a cave tour without having to trek through it. It's also the place where the Precious Moments Chapel is. So creator Jim Butcher created a chapel here that features all of the artwork from the Precious Moments that he created. And then Laura Ingalls Wilder's home and museum in Mansfield, Missouri. So this is where she wrote the Little House on the Prairie books. And you can tour her home and gain some insight on what inspired her to write those various books. And the most popular city in Southwest Missouri is going to be Branson, Missouri. So they're known as the live entertainment capital of the world with over 100 theater shows, tons of options. It doesn't matter what type of genre music you prefer, whether it's rock and roll, country, gospel, bluegrass, magicians, they have something for everybody. It's also a very family-friendly destination. Silver Dollar City is one of their most popular attractions, and it recently won additional awards as the best theme park in America. But what really sets it apart is the fact that it's a 1880s themed park. So not only do you have the roller coaster rides, but you also have blacksmiths who are, demonstrating their craft. You have glass blowers. They have musical performances, so a little bit of everything. Some of the other attractions is Big Cedar Lodge. This is a property that is south of Branson and has the Ozarks Heritage Preserve, where you can do their Lost Canyon Cave nature tour. So you drive a golf cart through this expansive, beautiful property that overlooks Table Rock Lake. You see waterfalls, you see canyons, Amish-built bridges. There's also the Ancient Ozarks Natural History Museum, which is one of the largest private collections of Native American artifacts. And then Dogwood Canyon Nature Park is also part of the same series, which is a little further south in Lampe, Missouri, where you can see bison and elk roaming on their nature tours, as well as do bicycle tours or Segway tours of their nature campus. Some of the other attractions in Branson is the Titanic Museum attraction. So this is one of the largest collections of Titanic artifacts, and also shopping opportunities. There's Dick's 5 and 10, which is an old 5 and dime store that is jam-packed with anything and everything that you could possibly need. We have mountain coasters, which are different from regular roller coasters in that they use the natural landscape, so the hilliness of the Ozarks, to create an adrenaline ride, as well as zip lines. There's a fake snowflex track to run. The Beyond the Lens Fly ride is a pop culture museum, so a little bit of everything for everyone. And last is Southeast Missouri. So Southeast Missouri is our less populated area that is more so known for its agritourism, as well as its outdoor recreation. Some of the highlights of this area is the American Tractor Museum, which is one of the largest collections of antique tractors from brands that are no longer in existence today. And they actually just expanded their showroom to make room for more models. They also are home to the Ozark National Scenic Riverways, which is a nationally protected river system. So very popular spot to go kayaking, canoeing, floating, and really not having any development along that river because it is nationally protected. So you're more likely to see wildlife on that trek and just get to really slow down and appreciate nature. The Sykeston JC Boot Hill Rodeo is the largest rodeo in the state of Missouri. A lot of people have to go through here to score points before they get to go to the bigger shows. So a little bit of everything. That top middle picture is the St. Genevieve Museum and Learning Center. So dinosaur artifacts have been recovered in Missouri, and that particular museum displays a T-Rex head that they recently recovered and are still working on the various fossil beds to recover more. So as far as coming to Missouri, what are the bucket list items that you have to do? And of course, Route 66 is number one. Like I said, FIFA World Cup is coming in 2026. The anniversary of Route 66, the 100th anniversary, is going to be in 2026. So definitely has to be on any individual's list. As I mentioned, we have 280 miles of the route that comes through the state of Missouri that features 4 historic motor courts that were in operation during the heyday of Route 66. So you can stay in an authentic motel where some of the famous travelers in the past stayed, including that bottom left picture is of the Route 66 Rail Haven in Springfield, Missouri, where Elvis stayed. So Springfield, Missouri is actually considered the birthplace of Route 66, and that's because that was the city where they sent the telegram in 1926 requesting the route to be called 66. It was originally wanted to be 60. The name was already taken. The federal government proposed 62, and Missouri and Oklahoma wanted something catchier, so they proposed that 66 name. Some of the other things to do along the route in Missouri is going to be the 66 drive-in theater. So a operational seasonal drive-in that you can, get your concessions, drinks, go back to your car, sit in, watch the movie. Just a really great time. There's also countless kitschy museums along the way, roadside attractions that you have to snap an iconic selfie in front of, but just really taking the time to talk with the locals and relive that heyday and embrace the nostalgia that still exists along the route. And then also just kind of an overview of some of the other things. You have to see the live music while you're in Branson. You have to take a picture at the Gateway Arch. We highly encourage you to embrace the outdoor recreation that we have available here. Absolutely wonderful, to immerse yourself with nature and snap those memories that are going to last forever. So just an overview of some of the things whenever you're talking to individuals that we highly encourage. And with that, I wrap it up, and thank you so much, and happy to take questions if anybody has any.
So I see that on the Visit Missouri website, there's an industry section. Can you speak to some of the resources that the travel trade can find on the website?
Yeah, so specifically on the industry side, what we find most helpful is going to be sample itineraries. So if you have any clients that have certain destinations in mind, or maybe a theme, maybe they want history, maybe they prefer music, that's a really great starting point of resources that you can use to help identify maybe some places to go, as well as how to piece those various points of interest together. There's also some fun facts. So any little bits of enticement to, share with individuals to get them interested in the state. And then we also have some various publications that we link there that's going to offer more in-depth information about Route 66, as well as an itinerary guide, which will be coming here in October. And then we also try to keep a section there updated with new and upcoming attractions. So if there's any attraction that have recently went through a major renovation or newly opened, we try to update that section there to have that information available.
There's a question from Derek here. Where would you recommend to go for a shopping trip, and are there outlet malls?
There are outlet malls. St. Louis has a various number of outlet malls. It kind of depends on what type of shopping they want to do. If they want antique shopping, Cherokee Row in St. Louis is wonderful for that. Again, as I mentioned, they have a number of outlet malls there on the outskirts of St. Louis. Branson as well has an outlet mall. They also have, it's called Branson Landing. So it's an entertainment boardwalk that is right up against Lake Taneycomo. So you have various shops there that you can enjoy, as well as attractions, arcades, a zip line over the lake, restaurants. So it's a really great setting and great ambiance. And then Kansas City as well, the Zona Rosa shopping district north of the downtown area is very popular, as well as Country Club Plaza, which is on the southern portion of Kansas City. And that one's really interesting because the architecture resembles that of Seville, Spain. So you're in Kansas City, Missouri, but you kind of feel like you're in a different area.
All right. And from Betsy here, do you have recommendations for barbecue in Kansas City?
I have so many recommendations. There's still some that I haven't tried yet. But definitely Arthur Bryant's is the iconic one. So that's the one where Presidents Barack Obama, Clinton, Bush, all of them have been to. They're probably the most world renowned because they are kind of the father of barbecue in Kansas City. It dates all the way back to when they started as a little a stand on the side of the street. Gates Barbecue is another founder of the Kansas City barbecue scene. So Arthur Bryant's and Gates for sure. And then we have new up and comers. So that's going to be your Q39, your Jack Stacks. Char Bar is very popular, has a great outdoor patio where you can play yard games. So no matter where you go, you're going to find tons of barbecue. But those are probably some of the most popular and prevalent ones.
All right, well, I don't see any further questions right now, so we can wrap things up. But thank you so much again to Ashley and all of your team, who I know some of them couldn't be here today, but thank you to your whole team. And